Let me show you a couple other useful features within Founder Suite. Let's go over here to our Investor Update tool. This is a tool to help you build a regular update or executive sum or newsletter to go out to investors. And I strongly recommend you do this. Very few founders do this or do it regularly, but it will actually set you apart from 99% of the other founders out there if you do this well. And there are two thoughts before I show you exactly how to do this. There are two kind of philosophies around doing investor updates. One is if you already have some investors or even advisors or other stakeholders, do an update probably every month, every other month or quarterly to keep them up to date with what is going on with your business and to activate them. Ask for help. And notice we have a little section here called How Can You Help? So, engage your existing investors with a regular update. The other is to prospective investors. These are investors that you want to raise money from down the line. A great hack is to reach out to investors. Let's say you're raising money, 6 months from now. Start reaching out to investors on your target list now, saying, hey, I'm not raising money right now, but I will be, in about 6 months from now. May I have your permission to add you to my newsletter distribution list? I'd love to show you what we're doing. And a lot of investors will be happy to do that. So you start sending them a newsletter in advance of raising money, and by the time you're actually ready to raise money, you've warmed them up. It's a great way to nurture leads, right? Again, back to our sales metaphor, sending a regular newsletter to prospective investors is nurturing those leads. So this is how we build an update. We've basically got the 6 sections as the default sections. For each one, we tell you or we give you some prompts of what to write. Again, on the 2 different types of investor updates, for the one going out to prospective investors, I would probably delete the challenges. Maybe include something about that, but a lot of times the one to prospective investors is just positive things going on. But the one to the investors that have already invested in you, definitely keep this. A few other sections. So you can add and remove these sections as you want. If you want to add a new section, just drag and drop a text block, give it a title. You can also create a KPI table. And this is pretty nice. Investors love to see metrics. So pick whatever metrics you're tracking and want to share. Add the data here. And then another great kind of hack is to add a couple images. If you've got a cool product, add an image of that product. If you have a team, I'm assuming you do, add a picture of the team to every single update so the investors connect the name to the face. So add a few sections, scratch out some bullet points in each section. If you want to attach additional files, you can do that here. And then our next step is we publish this. Publishing it creates a unique URL. So let me show you what one looks like. So this is a real update to my investors. I did it not too long ago. This is the unique URL, but what investors are going to see looks like this. So of course this would be your logo, not mine. This would be your photo, not mine. Nice little navigation bar. This is clickable on the side. I like to include a little overview, just kind of a summary of what happened in the last quarter, and then a little more detail on Q3 highlights. So what are the main things we achieved last quarter? We launched a new homepage, so I put a screenshot of that in here. We have our KPI table, very clean, easy to process and digest. A few challenges, and then I like to include with a looking ahead. And this is a nice bookend, right? Up here I've got my Q3 highlights, things that we did, and then here's what we're going to do. Here are everything exciting upcoming in the next quarter. And then, let me go back to the app. I can either just copy that report URL. If I want to use my own mailing program, I just copy this URL. Or I can send this out either to everyone in my CRM or to specific boards. Maybe I only want to send it to, prospective investors, for example. Or I can send it to specific stages, and stage in this case means columns. So if I want to send it just to my, call it FS investors and I only want to send it to my committed investors, I can do that. There's a little text box here. You can edit this if you want to kind of personalize the metrics or personalize the comments, the note, and then you hit send, it'll fire it off. After you've sent it or copied the URL and sent it through your own system, come back later and you can actually track and see who read your update and how much time they spent on your update. And this is really powerful, especially it's nice to know if my existing investors are looking at my materials, but this is really powerful for prospective investors. If you have 100 investors in your funnel and you're sending them a monthly update and 50 of them are opening it and viewing it, and 20 of those are spending 2 or 3 minutes or more, those are really your buyers. Those are the people that are interested in your next round. You can also use this same tool a couple other ways. So we actually put our investor deck up on here. I just imported all our slides as images. So it's just pretty simple, pretty clean. You know, it's not quite as slick as some of the dedicated pitch deck hosting tools, but it does the job. I can send this URL out to investors, and likewise I can track and see if they open it. So a few different tools you can play with here. This is a pretty powerful tool, and we get a lot of good feedback from investors. They really like this format. So definitely play around with it, check it out. And as always, if you have any questions, just give us an email, info@foundersuite.com.